please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So Succession just finished. I like Succession a lot, right? I liked it a lot. 4 seasons of, I will say goodness, but none of it is good. It's all bad, it's all evil, it's all compelling viewing, and it's all kind of sad and pathetic, all at the same time, and fascinating watch, right? Absolutely fascinating watch. I enjoyed this show a lot, right? I enjoyed it a lot. I think it had a lot of connection to Doctor Who. I'm not sure. I think Jane Tranter or Julie Gardner or both of them or Bad Wolf, who are all involved with the new Doctor Who and Rusty Davies' old one, were involved in the creation of this and maybe the production. I don't know. It feels like their type of production. It feels very classy, very together, very holistic, like really, really holds together very, very well. It's essentially about a insanely wealthy media mogul, like Rupert, what's he called again? Murdoch, who's got a media empire of theme parks and international cable news channel and regular channels and movies and like just so much stuff, right? Like a huge, and it's a family, right? It's a family at the center of it, and it's a patriarch at the center of that family, and that patriarch is old. First episode is essentially they think he's dead, right? And it's like, how are we going to take over? And all that involves with it, and all the sheer sheer unveiled avarice and just lust for money, right? Pours out. So I found that very fascinating, right? I found that really genuinely worked. So and I thought it was a great show, right? I really thought it was a great riveting show. I don't know, does HBO Max change its name to Max Share? I don't know, but there you can get it there. It's just another bit of content on that streaming service that makes me think that streaming service is great. There's a lot of good stuff on there. I mean, you got like House of Dragon, the modern stuff, but you also got the old Game of Thrones. Watch up till season 5, but you got Boardwalk Empire, awesome, Sopranos, The Wire, just so much good, high quality entertainment, and now you have this as well. Look, if you're looking for a few things to binge for a month or so, a couple of months, it's worth them. It's what was it, $10 a month or whatever? I would say it's worth it, right? I think there's enough on it to make it worthwhile. If you $10, you get a bunch of shows. I would go for it, right? If I was you. Anyway, so if you're wondering, is this worth your time and money? In my opinion, it is. Whatever that is worth for you, right? I'd like you to like, share, subscribe, and comment if my opinion is worthless to you or full of worth you. Either way. Like, share, subscribe, comment. That'll be fantastic. You want to be super nice? Subscribe over to Rumble, baby. Oh, Rumble is good to me. But you can subscribe on YouTube. You can subscribe on Twitter. You'll find me on all those places. I live stream pretty much every day. 5 p.m. UK time. Noon on the East Coast of America. And 9 a.m. on the West Coast of the United States. So you can catch me on all those times. Join us on the live stream. We have fun. We basically play things by ear. We take the piss. It's just a laugh, basically. It's just a laugh. That's basically what I want to do. Fine. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. The algorithm does like your comments. I think I covered everything. All the links to all my social stuff, all my different platforms in the video notes, so you can head over there. Now, let me hand over to me. When did I record this review? I'm thinking Sunday, maybe? I don't know. Let me hand it to me from a few days ago. In the end, this show is really, okay, the central idea of the show is how being born with extreme wealth and power is detrimental, right? It's essentially it's a treatise on why communism and socialism is wrong, right? Communism and socialism are very nihilistic, short-sighted ideals, where they feel that the only thing of real worth is physical, accruing wealth, money, whatever. Who has the most stuff? So they look at people with more than them, and it's just jealousy. And they said, no, it should be fair. We should have equal, right? They view the wealthy as having an unfair advantage, and they do. In some aspects, they absolutely do. But I think the wealthy, that's what this show is about, have a significant disadvantage. It depends on what you think the point of life is, right? If you think the point of life is to get stuff, They have an incredible advantage, right? They're born with like tons of stuff, right? Billions. If and but if the point of life is to become more than what you were, being born with wealth is a massive disadvantage because it takes away the impetus to do anything, right? And basically that's what this show is about, right? How being an absolute useless, how being absolutely useless with no self-respect is ultimately incredibly destructive. And I think we're seeing that played out on a much bigger scale across America right now, right? It's I think this what's option 2? I think option 2 is being wealthy. I hear what you say. No, but you know the mental health crisis that we see very clearly before our eyes, right? We have, I mean, like people fall into several categories, but like a lot of people driving this are not mentally healthy, right? If you're walking around with a doggy mask on, that's not a sign that you're particularly together, right? Okay, that like a leather doggy mask, right? As your identity, that's not a good sign. That's not something you should go, oh, yes, I found my identity. No, that's a bad, this is all bad. If you do that, it's bad, right? Bad. Not good. Yeah, I got a picture of it. Here we go. Bad, right? Bad weirdos, right? That shouldn't happen, right? I feel like in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you know, they should have a sign saying, this should never, ever, ever happen, right? And so I think, again, so we have people who are generally mentally ill, I think, driven by their absolute uselessness, right? Their absolute and complete uselessness, which we see a lot of society have. So that's really what this show is about with Aaron. So this guy is Kendall. It's about like this multi-billion-dollar family who has this... they're basically Fox. They're basically the Murdochs, right? They got the old man... who runs it, who's played by, I can't remember, old English actor. What's the bloody hell's name? Let me look up his name. Succession. There we go. Doink. Brian Cox. That's the guy. Oh, that was really kind of painful, right? So it's got Brian Cox as the patriarch who owns like this global news network, basically Fox News and entertainment network and cruise lines, and like it's Fox. So it's Rupert Murdoch, right? And it starts off with him looking like he's about to die, right? He kills over and he was about to die. And that's why the show is called Succession. But okay, so you get to know the people. So firstly, this is his useless son who knows he's useless and doesn't want to confront how useless he is, right? Still tries to think that he has some ability, but he doesn't, because they've never done anything on their own in their lives, right? This is his brother Roman. So that guy was called Kendall. This guy's called Roman. It's a different type of fuck up to Kendall. This one is this was more of like a empty-headed playboy sort of thing, and doesn't really consider how useless he is. And then finally, you have the sister Shiv, kind of hotter in the first couple of seasons, who is like this political mover and shaker, who basically just got where she is because of her connection to her father, and everybody knows it. But also, she's a billionaire in her own right. And the full son is Alan Ruck. He's the one I sort of like the best. He doesn't have anything to do with the business. He spent the last 2 or 3 years running for president very badly and spending about $1 billion doing it, right? But like, you know, in the season towards the end of the series, when the patriarch finally had died, Brian Cox. He's like negotiating to buy his father's old apartment from his ex-wife, from his mother, I think, or ex-wife, his father's ex-wife, right? And he said, "Well, he said, what are you planning on doing with this? I will sell it. I expect to get between 75 and 80 million for it." Says, "How about I give you 64, 66, 67 million?" He said, "Yeah, done, no problem." Right, he just offered 67 million, done, for this apartment. You know, with it, just that. That's how much money there. So he has he got married in the last season to this person. This is Willa. So weirdly, he met Willa as she was a prostitute that he paid for, right? But likes her a lot, right? So even weirder, he went with her first, and I think paid for her for his brother, right? It's a strange relationship. Like it's that they nearly didn't get married, but you feel kind of pain for all these people because they're all those people in American Idol, you know, who come in and think they can sing and that they can't do anything. And the reason they can't do anything is because they've never had to do anything, and that's really the bottom line. You never do anything till you have to do it, right? And I think we've robbed of this like vapid generation. Speaking of the vapid generation, we've got two more characters. We have Tom, who is my favorite character. He's an English guy, but he plays a New Yorker. He has glommed onto Shiv, right? In pursuit of money and power, and is very open about that. Very subservient for it, right? He knows his place, right? He spent much of season 2 or 3 when it looked like they were going to go down by this like government audit because they had all this bad stuff going on. He was going to offer to go to prison for a few months, for like 8 months or something, as like the fall guy for everything. And that was just in his a meltdown pressure was extraordinary, right? But he figured that will buy him cash. And basically, his goal is to accumulate money and power because he likes being rich, right? So he has a protege, Greg, right? Greg the Egg, right? Greg is Gregory. He is like this cousin of the families, and he ends up like being able to. He ends up being in the right time, the right place to like join the family. Yeah, Matthew McFadden from Spooks. That's exactly who it is, right? Oh, that's the act. Is that the extra man to Aidan Turner? I don't know. But yeah, so Greg is really, really a hanger-on, right? He was there as in the beginning of the season as the patriarch was dying, right? And he was just got into it. He was there to see somebody, or I think he was there to see him, see if he could help him get a job because he just screwed something up. And he was there as it was all going down, so he got into the helicopters of people and stuff like that. And now he kind of globbed himself on the inside, but he's like Matthew McFadden's pet, right? And he's such a shit to him because he can be. Right, but their relationship is just fabulous, right? So that's basically the series in a nutshell. In the last season, there's only one unfortunate thing I would say in the last season. They introduced this guy who's clearly Trump-like, right? This is the liberal view of who Trump was, right? Oh no, he's appealing to waiters, no, and there's all such nonsense, right? So that's essentially who they bring this character in, and they end up calling the election for him because it's all so mysterious and he cheats. And it's like, again, it's every ridiculous liberal fantasy of what Trump is. Oh God, and the voters are it's like, you know, they like when it looks like they're gonna help him, it's like, oh, I don't know, he's so racist. Oh, and like, oh look, my daughter's been beaten up because of racism, because of this guy. And again, none of that ever happened, you dumb, ignorant fucks, right? I wish I could just screen that in there. None of that ever happened. There was no violent white supremacist MAGA. It wasn't there, right? You were just bonkers, right? You were wrong. You were whipped into a frenzy by social media. You were duped. And basically you're a schmuck, mate. Okay, that's the bottom line, and that's why you don't want to deal with it. But essentially, so that kind of mars the season somewhat, I would say, because oh god, it's so obvious. I mean, like most of the other things I say, I think it's quite entertaining. So they have this basically it's all these different power plays against each other, and then so by the time you get to the last season, you have the three kids are like one power block, and the father is another one, and then there's no way that if you look into the show you won't know about this, and then you'll forget about me when it comes. He actually does die about halfway through the last season, right? Unexpectedly. And it's like, really like, whoa, right? And you see like these three kids, the four kids, I say, have an emotional meltdown, breakdown, because this is the first time they weren't able to escape anything, right? They weren't, and they're all completely crushed in different ways, even though they hated the father at the same time, right? So very, very classy production. I can stay classy, baby. It's on HBO Max. I think, look, if ever you want to subscribe to HBO Max for a month, this is one reason to do so. Right? It's got 4 seasons, and I would say, yay, right? I would say that. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you are notified when new videos drop. Yeah!